Hello, my name is Benjamin Zephaniah. I'm a poet, novelist, musician, actor, and my mum said I'm a naughty boy. My mum is always right. But I've got to tell you something. I was born and bred in Brum. Yeah, I love to say that. Born and bred in Brum. It's a bit like a poem, yeah? And I love my city. I loved growing up in my city. And I remember when I first went to school, how I loved school, but I struggled to read and write. And it was very frustrating. All the kids were getting on so well, and I just couldn't keep up with them. In those days, when you struggled to read and write, they called you dunce, they called you stupid. Sometimes teachers would tell me to go and stand in the corner of the classroom and put my hands on my head. It was terrible. When I went to secondary school, it didn't get much better. In secondary school, there were these clever kids, and then there were these other kids that weren't so clever. I started to hang out with the kids that weren't so clever, and we started to get in trouble. Then we got excluded from school. We used to call it expelled. Just left on the streets to do nothing. And so we started to get in trouble. I always loved doing poetry. I started doing poetry when I was 5 years old, my mum said. As soon as I started using words, I was using poetry. But when I started getting into trouble, I could see I had to change my life around. One day I just stopped and went, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to do good things. I want to do things with poetry. And I started to perform my poetry. Wrote my first book. They called me a writer. And I thought, oh, I'm not really a writer. So I went to adult education classes. And in one of those adult education classes, they told me I was dyslexic. I'd never heard the word before. It's such a strange word. Didn't know what it meant. So the teacher told me what it meant. And as soon as she told me what it meant, I said, yes, that's me. I'm still dyslexic, but now I'm able to read and write. I do find reading difficult. Sometimes it's a struggle. I write books, and I still find reading books difficult. Isn't that strange? The thing is, you see, I don't let it stop me from having ideas. There are some great people in the world who are dyslexic. Some great minds, some great thinkers, some great inventors, some great architects who are dyslexic. So I don't let it stop me from having ideas. And because I know there are some great ideas in books, I don't let it stop me from reading books. Yeah, I may take a bit longer. It can be hard work, but I know that reading is a great thing. Sometimes I travel by bicycle. Sometimes I travel by car. Sometimes I travel by car, I've travelled by boat, I've even travelled by aeroplane. But the best way to travel is by book. You can go anywhere you like. And if there's a destination you want to go to and you can't see it, create it, write it, tell your story. I'm Benjamin Zephaniah. You are wonderful. Bye.